Hi, I'm James Jessup, the Sales and Marketing Director for PCS Thailand. Welcome back to our Thought Leadership series for 2022. Today we're going to have a deep dive into technology with a spotlight on IoT. PCS has been developing and researching IoT products and solutions for about the last 12 months, and I'm very excited today to introduce our next guest, David McGeown.
Thanks very much,
David,
James.
the Director of Transformation and Technology for Thailand.
Correct, yeah.
Fantastic. So I understand that we have been developing quite a few products around this technology and IoT. And what I was particularly impressed with was the way that we developed from the ground up. So based on the voice of the customer, really trying to understand what their needs were, what their pain points were, and more importantly also what was important to their customers. So I understand there are 3 technology IoT solutions that PCS has recently developed. Can you perhaps give us a little bit more insight into those, David?
I certainly can, James. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
the Insight series of products, we have a Wellness Concierge.
Yeah.
And the Wellness Concierge is all about us ensuring that people or building end users have a safe environment to work or use.
Yep.
A good example would be an international school, where it's very important for the children to have a safe learning environment and a learning environment that's more productive for them. So that's all about environment monitoring and management. We also have the
Virtual technician.
virtual technician. Thank you very much.
We can keep going.
Yeah. We also have the virtual technician. And the virtual technician is all about control of assets. So with the Wellness Concierge, we understand how an environment performs. With the virtual technician, we look to influence that environment and improve how that environment's performing for the end users of the building or the built environment. And finally, we have energy management. And energy management's all about utilising that technology around environment management, asset control and virtual technician to ensure that we deliver and help customers to deliver energy savings and a more sustainable building.
Fantastic. What I particularly like about the virtual wellness concierge is not only the way that it makes the environment safe for children, the students if you like, but also what we found out through the customer engagement sessions was the way that parents felt that they had to make sure that their child who's at the school is in the right type of environment where they can, one, their wellness is good, and also where they can actually learn better. Any other sort of insights around that?
Yeah, so parents' insights are interesting, but actually some of the insights we could gain around our services. So in monitoring the environment, we found that things like volatile organic compounds, which are harmful to everyone, but particularly children and do impact their learning, are much higher post-cleaning. So that's helped us to tailor our cleaning schedules around when children will be utilised in facilities. So through monitoring the environment, we've been able to see when it's safe and when it's not safe to clean, and also when it's safe to reuse the facility itself.
Yeah. And what I love, you know, little Johnny?
I love little Johnny.
Little Johnny is our is our student of the school, a very important part of our research and development. And little Johnny's mum and dad were very keen to make sure that he was safe when he was at school. So the virtual wellness app, I know it doesn't have to be an app, but it's something which is available on a smartphone where the parents can see the wellness index of little Johnny at any one point in time. What are some of the things that you would measure in terms of wellness to make sure that little Johnny is safe when at school and able to optimise the learning experience?
From a wellness perspective, there's probably 3 key measures. So carbon dioxide, CO2. We know that if it goes above 800 parts per million, it's not safe and can also inhibit cognitive ability. So number 1, if you want your kids to learn, you want to make sure their brains are working right.
Now, fun fact, David, fun fact, is it true a 10% improvement in indoor air quality could lead to a 6% improvement in cognitive behaviour and concentration?
Well, I think you're referring to a study by Manchester University in the UK,
that's the
James,
one.
and yes,
Indeed.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Just like a 1% or a 1 degree increase in temperature indoors could lead to a 10% reduction in energy usage. So yeah, we've done our homework on the statistics, and statistics are brilliant, they prove a point, but actually when you talk to parents, CO2, PM 2.5, obviously in a polluted city like Bangkok, and then humidity as well. So humidity is interesting because the more humid an environment, With the less recirculation of air through CO2, you'll be able to measure that through CO2, increases virus transmission or potential for virus transmission, which is obviously very, very relevant over the last few years.
So the PCS Virtual Wellness Concierge provides some significant value benefits not only to the school itself, but also to the students, the parents, but also the teachers. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So, teachers have a right to have a healthy environment to work in, just like the kids do, and just like anyone else going to work. But over and above that, number one, hopefully, if you have a better environment for the children, less VOCs, less CO2, those children will be better behaved in class, and I'm sure teachers would appreciate that. On a more practical level, teachers are often having to talk to us, PCS, about problems with their facilities. So the air conditioning's not working, I can't open a window properly, the lighting's not right. The exhaust in a science lab, for example, the fresh air's not being brought back into the room and it's not taking air out. Well, the wellness concierge combined with the virtual technician can give us the ability to get on top of those issues before the customer even notices them. In the case of a school, before the teacher even notices them. So we'll be there to fix something before the occupants have found there's a problem.
What you're really saying, David, is that you're bringing people and technology together.
Absolutely, James, yeah.
Fantastic. Now, Dave, next question. There are so many IoT products on the market that you can buy them. Lazada, you can go literally down the road. Probably at 7-Eleven you can buy them shortly. What makes the PCS technology, IoT systems and solutions different and better? And whilst we've spoken about some of the benefits to customers, what are some of the big benefits of the PCS solutions?
Okay, this is a really good question, James, and forgive me, it might lead to a slightly more complex answer, but I'm going to try and distill this as best I can. You're absolutely right that we have thought about this differently, and we thought about customers and building it from the ground up. We've actually been looking at IoT for more like 3 years, but the last 12 months is where we've been really able to accelerate that effort. IoT is not just about putting boxes on walls. So as you know, I don't like calling it IoT because the connected tech, the connected devices are only a tiny fraction of what we're actually looking to deliver. And what we are building as a platform, and it's a platform for interoperability. What does that mean? It means pulling lots of different data sources, whether they're IoT devices, existing sources, BMS systems, BIM systems, computer-aided facility management systems, bringing all of those together into a platform where we can use the data to make informed choices about action to take. Effectively, if you can measure it, you can do something about it, but if you can't measure it, you can't. So it's all about bringing lots of disparate sources of data together into one place. Now, why is that better? In my view, that's better for our customers because we give them everything at a single cost. They're not paying for an air quality system, they're not paying separately then for a asset management system and then another energy management system, exactly. They're not looking at 5 or 6 different dashboards, and actually we can use the data in combination to start building in things like machine learning and AI that help us to predict when problems are going to occur, see trends in data to understand why problems are happening, and then also to go back to the people, process and technology point again, to take the work we've done to fix problems, to make the environment better, to improve the environment for its occupants, and combine that with our learnings to make the environment and the built environment for the occupants better all round and perform better. All of that in the long run is going to lead to a better utilised space, using less energy with happier occupants.
And so this all sounds great, right? And I love it. I'm a believer, as you know.
Of course.
The question is, for the skeptics out there, where have you been able to implement this into a real environment to say that all the things that we've spoken about actually does translate into ultimately value to the customers and their customers? Yeah,
so a bit careful about talking about specific customers, but we're working very closely with a couple of international schools, and we have our systems in place there. There's also a large retailer in Bangkok that we have implemented at a single site and have plans to roll that out to multiple sites across the country later in the year. We're also in talks with, outside of healthcare, we're in talks with customers in, outside of education, we're in talks with customers in the healthcare industries, manufacturing, commercial. It's of interest to everyone.
Yeah.
But where we have seen the most tangible benefits have been in the international schools to date.
Yeah, okay. You mentioned the word, something that really resonates strongly with me, and that's data and analytics. How can you get the most out of a technology IoT ecosystem once it's all been installed and that, you're getting nice dashboards, but how can you really then say, get more?
There's two ways of looking at this, or two things you need to look at. So the first is around how you present your data to provide insight. So anyone can take some data and put it into a report. We're all good at using Excel, right, and creating some nice pivot tables, but do they really mean anything? So really working with customers to understand the questions they want to answer. What do I need to know to decide whether I want to improve my facility? And then develop the insights that really inform the answers to those questions. The second is actually more on the technology side. So as we learn from the environment and we make human-based decisions, we program those into the platform as logic. So the data that's coming from the IoT devices is not only helping inform our decisions, but eventually, once we've taken the learnings and we're able to put some logic behind them, it's actually actioning those decisions as well, automatically.
Now, David, you're a big fan of the Thought Leadership series.
Of course.
PCS, of course, naturally. So you probably know what this question's going to be. It's the crystal ball question, everybody. So, David, you've got your crystal ball. Let me pass you the virtual crystal ball.
Thank you very much.
What do you see in that virtual crystal ball for technology, IoT, in PCS, in Thailand, potentially beyond that?
Well, so I suppose in PCS I can see us continuing to grow use cases with further customers. What's going to drive the things that we do differently, or the direction of travel we take with regard to customer-facing tech, is going to be what our customers are asking for. It's going to be the questions that they want answered through data primarily. It's going to be the pain points that we can help them solve by integrating our people and our technology, and then building the process wrapper around that. More widely, there's obviously a big move towards smart cities, IoT, all these sorts of things, and all great. I think what we'll probably start to see in the next 12 to 18 months is some of the less viable solutions dropping away. And as an industry, I was seeing some real leaders pulling out in front. And the key to that is going to be solutions that are flexible and adaptable and cover multiple use cases.
Martin Luther King had a dream. David, what's your dream for technology IoT, or for David McGeown?
Well, okay, so my dream from a PCS perspective is not just on the IoT platform front. It's actually on creating an environment for our customers where they can come and see not just how their facility is performing, but how we are performing, where they'll have reports and information about how many of our staff are there on site at a particular time, how many tickets we've closed, how many work orders we've completed, how many planned preventative maintenance activities we've been through in a particular month, as well as all the data on how the facility's performing as well, in one place. So a one-stop shop that gives them a real insight into how we're performing. I suppose in all of my career in IT, people have talked about customer portals. They've never really hit the mark. They've always been inward facing. I think we have a strategy now that will take us to providing outward facing dashboards for customers that keep us honest as a company.
Thank you very much. That brings us to a close to the Thought Management series for today. Thank you once again, David McGowan, for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, James.